So Pikmin 1 and 2 are now officially on the Nintendo Switch, but they're not the same as you might expect because a lot of the game is actually slightly different to how it was on GameCube. In this video I'm going to explain every single change that I found in Pikmin 1 and 2 on the Nintendo Switch. Now I will not mention most of the changes that were made to the Wii port, but I will mention a few of them that are significant to the actual Switch port, you know. So first off, oh boy, the worst change in my opinion in the whole of Pikmin 1 and 2, the controls. The controls are, in my opinion, not good in this part. In Pikmin 1 and 2, on the GameCube, especially Pikmin 2, the controls were basically perfect, and I didn't complain about anything there. On the GameCube, you could use the C stick, or in this case the right stick, to swarm your Pikmin and tell them wherever they should go. But the thing is that on the Switch version, you have to hold the L shoulder button and then press the right stick to make them swarm. That's terrible. Why would they do that? Other control differences is that you now swap Pikmin types by holding A and holding the R button. You also swap Pikmin leaf, bud and flower states by holding A and then pressing the X button. The camera controls are now on the right stick, so you can rotate it 360 degrees left or right by pressing left or right on the right stick. You can also make the camera go vertical, which used to be on the Z button on the GameCube, but now is down on the right stick and up on the right stick to go up and down. The right stick button now does the knapsack ability, and their left stick button now centers the cursor back to your captain, which is the most useless thing ever. It is not at all needed and would never be used. So first of all, you can't swarm and hold a Pikmin at the same time when you could do in the GameCube version. On the title screen, the copyright date no longer says 2004 Nintendo and just says Nintendo. The game is now in widescreen instead of 4:3, which the Wii version did in fact do as well. All the text in the game looks good, except some of it is now stretched. Most of the textures and HUD elements in the game have been upscaled to HD. HUD elements such as these, and the text looks HD as well, but some of them like this is a bit stretched. They've implemented a full-on controls menu that was absent from normal GameCube Pikmin 2, and they've added motion control aiming, where you basically tilt the controller forward for you to be able to slightly aim forward and slightly aim back. I played the Pikmin 4 demo today, spoiler alert, and Pikmin 4's controls use that same method if you want. There's an option that's on by default in Pikmin 4 that makes it so that you can slightly tilt your controller forward and backwards in any direction to slightly move it further. On the GameCube version, you could skip pretty much every cutscene. There was a few that you couldn't skip, but you could skip 99% of the cutscenes. But just like the Wii version, on Switch you cannot skip 99% of the cutscenes. You can skip all of the ones like going into the hole and stuff like that, but you can't skip all of the ones such as this. On the GameCube and Wii version, you had to mash the A button to pluck Pikmin. While that still works on the Switch version, you can now hold the A button to do plucking, which is kind of glitchy because sometimes Olimar and Louie will just stop moving and plucking. Sometimes, don't know why, doesn't make any sense. All of the treasures that had real life branding on have now had that removed and replaced with generic made up branding. This is probably because the game is basically, it's 19 years old, Pikmin 2, so all of the like licensing maybe that Nintendo had is probably expired or something, I don't know, but all of the ones like the Duracell batteries and stuff replaced with generic super battery whatever. In the GameCube version, you couldn't just drop a Pikmin and stop holding it, you had to let it go and throw it. But in the Switch version, if you just press B while holding A, you will just drop the Pikmin behind you. In the European and maybe Australian versions of Pikmin 1 and 2, the Wollywog enemy was always, since the very start in 2001, called Wally Hop. But in the American versions, it was called Wollywog. So now on from Pikmin 1, 2 HD and most likely Pikmin 4, Wollywogs are now officially called Wollyhops in every single region, as well as Walpoles instead of Wogpoles. When the days ended and you're looking at all of the progress you made during the day, instead of pressing Z to view your Pikmin deaths, you now press ZL. On the world map there is this text that says above ground for the treasures that you have collected. On GameCube it has a space between the word above and ground, but on Switch it does not have a space anymore. On GameCube, when you would pluck a Pikmin, your cursor will just stay in the position that it was when you started to pluck, but on Switch the cursor completely disappears until you stop plucking. On GameCube the camera would center to wherever the cursor is facing and not the character, but on Switch now it only centers to the character. This is most likely because this whole version on Switch is actually a part of the Wii version, which didn't have a stick cursor and was fully motion controls, and the camera center behind the captain in that version too. On the GameCube you could press the B button to go out of the pause menu, and it was pretty quick and responsive, but on Switch for some reason it either doesn't work half the time or takes like a full-on 2 seconds to go out of the pause menu after you click B. Momentum when throwing a Pikmin is completely absent and just isn't there anymore. The Pikmin will travel less when running at full speed compared to on GameCube. Pikmin seem to grab walls a bit weirdly in the Switch version as well compared to how they would do on GameCube. On GameCube you could do the swarming thing when you had no Pikmin in your squad, but on the Switch version you cannot swarm without Pikmin anymore. The jingle does not play. Sometimes randomly when plucking on the Switch, the Pikmin will go idle for absolutely no reason. This does not happen in the GameCube version. On the GameCube version, when collecting an enemy or a treasure, the fraction above the enemy or treasure would display it as the Pikmin required on the bottom and the Pikmin holding on the top. Now it's the opposite way on Switch. For some reason yellow Pikmin don't seem to be thrown as high anymore. For some unknown reason, most likely because of the weird new control and momentum that's absent. On GameCube, the cursor is actually closer to Olimar or Louis or whoever you're playing as compared to on Switch. It's just naturally further away now. On the title screen, if you would leave the game idle, it would show demos of either the intro cutscene or of just some gameplay. Those intro cutscene and gameplay pre-rendered cutscenes are no longer in the game, as soon as the game fades to black after being idle, it just loops the title screen again. And in Pikmin 1, it just doesn't end, it keeps going infinitely. The intro cutscene is still in the game in Pikmin 2. You can still view it in the bonuses menu or when you're actually playing the game and you encounter it when you start a new file. Also different on the title screen, on the GameCube version you could hold the L and R triggers to do some Easter eggs. Pressing one of them would make the Pikmin form a formation of Nintendo. Pressing the other would give you control of a Bulborb that can literally eat Pikmin. And then pressing the Z button will give you control of an Antenna Beetle, I believe, unless it's different button combinations, but you can do that in the GameCube version. Control a Bulborb, Flint Beetle, and also make them spell Nintendo, but you cannot do that on Switch. I learnt this from the Pikmin wiki, the Pikipedia. All instances of the word Louis that were coloured blue on the GameCube version have now been recoloured to a light yellow. The text for cave loading screens is much more opaque and cream coloured. Various pieces of text have just been altered for no reason. There are no more sound options for mono or surround sound, it is only in stereo. When going with 100 Pikmin in the GameCube version, you could hear the I no Uta Easter egg, I hope I said that correctly, and the Pikmin would sing it. This is completely absent from the Switch version, and it might be absent from the Wii version as well, but long story short, the Easter egg is completely gone. And finally from the Pikipedia for Pikmin 2, above ground treasures no longer give out a low hum sound. Now onto some Pikmin 1 changes. In challenge mode, you cannot press the plus button to go on your map, as For some reason, it doesn't allow it, which is fine for normal Pikmin 1 challenge mode thing, but the thing is that the map screen has the controls options to turn on or off motion controls, but you cannot access that at all in challenge mode. You have to leave the game and go into a literal save file just to turn off motion controls, then go back to the title screen and go back into challenge mode again. For some reason, you can't just turn it off in the menu at all in challenge mode. The bomb rocks are bigger and have also been changed a lot. Bomb rocks no longer explode when you whistle them from non-idle yellow Pikmin. They will just come to you like normal. The bomb rocks are visibly bigger as well, making them easier to spot. And also, just like Pikmin 2, you can press the R button while holding A to cycle through Pikmin types. A lot of the renders here have been upscaled by AI from the looks of it, which kind of a lot of the instruments and music is kind of off in Pikmin 1 and doesn't sound as good. Nectar is available for longer before it's just not drinkable anymore in Pikmin 1. And the creature montage is redone completely with new footage, so no more beta elements and no more cool pre-release stuff in the creature montage. That crushing glitch that happened in the GameCube version is rarer, but it still happens apparently. The way that Pikmin control has improved as well. They're more responsive and actually come to you when you whistle them instantly. Apparently some sounds play differently, like the onion ejecting seeds, but I have no idea. The logos for both games have been updated to look like the Pikmin 4 logo, but not in-game, only on the icon and the physical box art of the games. In the original game, it looked like the text was being typed out in the creature montage, but now it's just slowly fades in, which looks really mediocre and like they didn't put the effort into it. The swooping snitch bug is now placed in the correct place in alphabetical order in the creature montage. The screen shakes and shows like all of this when you take damage, which I don't remember that happening in the GameCube version. So I think that's it. Let me know if there's any changes that you found that I didn't find in this video, so comment them down below if you find anything else I didn't find. But I hope you enjoyed this video. Why don't you subscribe, because Pikmin 4 is coming out soon. Anyway, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in another video. Bye bye!